Hi, welcome to my channel. Are microplastics really a big problem? In this video, we will discuss microplastic. I hope you will like it. So let's get started. What are microplastics? Plastic pollution that ends up in the ocean deteriorates and breaks down and ends up as microplastics. Microplastics are fragments of any type of plastic less than 5 mm, 0.2 inch, in length, according to the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Microbeads are manufactured solid plastic particles of less than 1 mm in their largest dimension. They are most frequently made of polyethylene but can be of other petrochemical plastics such as polypropylene and polystyrene. They are used in personal care products, toothpastes and in biomedical and health science research. A new study finds on average people could be ingesting approximately 5 grams of plastic every week, which is the equivalent weight of a credit card. Types of microplastics. Microplastics are divided into two types, primary and secondary. Examples of primary microplastics include microbeads found in personal care products, plastic pellets, or Nurdles, used in industrial manufacturing, and plastic fibers used in synthetic textiles, for example, nylon. Primary microplastics enter the environment directly through any of various channels, for example, product use, example, personal care products being washed into wastewater systems from households, unintentional loss from spills during manufacturing or transport, or abrasion during washing, for example, laundering of clothing made with synthetic textiles. Beads in cosmetic scrubs. Microfibers in clothing and textiles. Tire pieces broken off through abrasion. Abrasion of plastic parts used in manufacturing. Secondary microplastics form from the breakdown of larger plastics. This typically happens when larger plastics undergo weathering, through exposure to, for example, wave action, wind abrasion, and ultraviolet radiation from sunlight. Bags, cups, bottles, fishing nets. Nurdle. A nurdle is a small plastic pellet used to create virtually anything plastic. From plastic bottles to automobile parts, they're widely used in plastic production. They are the raw material for everything that's made of plastic. But even if they're tiny, their damage is giant and immeasurable. Because of their size, it's hard to keep them contained, and they spill into rivers, waterways, and the ocean. Nurdles come in all sorts of colors, and their size and shape make it very easy for marine life to mistake them for food. It's been recorded that more than 220 species of marine animals ingest microplastics and plastic debris. Nurdles are made of polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, polyvinyl chloride, or other plastic types. How are nurdles damaging our ecosystems? The creation of these pellets requires fossil fuels, which are already posing a risk to our planet. Fossil fuels are accelerating global warming because of their greenhouse emissions. But the damage caused by nurdles goes way beyond fossil fuels. These nurdles are as small as a lentil, and as they get damaged by the weather and ocean currents, they get smaller and smaller. Because of their size, they are easily confused for food by marine life. Fish, turtles, seabirds, and all kinds of marine animals are eating these pellets. Their stomachs fill with plastic, which their bodies can't handle. The plastic debris adds up in their stomach, so they don't eat, and eventually die of starvation, with a stomach full of plastic. Every year, there are approximately 250,000 tons of nurdles, making their way into our oceans and rivers. The menace of microplastics. Microplastics are plastic particles less than 5 millimeters in diameter. They contribute to over 80% of the ocean debris. The plastic materials discarded by humans traverse through land and are passed to the oceans by wind or rivers. These plastic materials are broken down to smaller particles by exposure to sunlight or wave action. These smaller plastic particles are called microplastics. Marine organisms such as fish, crabs and prawns consume these microplastics by misidentification as food. Humans consume these seafood, which leads to several health complications. Thus, plastic materials discarded by one man ends up on the plate of another man through seafood and sea salt. The world's sea floor is littered with an estimated 14 million tons of microplastics, broken down from the masses of rubbish entering the oceans every year, according to Australia's national science agency Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation, CSIRO. Environmental and health impacts. Microplastics are not biodegradable. Thus, once in the environment, primary and secondary microplastics accumulate and persist. Microplastics have been found in a variety of environments, including oceans and freshwater ecosystems. In oceans alone, annual plastic pollution, from all types of plastics, was estimated at 4 million to 14 million tons in the early 21st century. Microplastics also are a source of air pollution, occurring in dust and airborne fibrous particles. The health effects of microplastics inhalation are unknown. By 2018, in marine and freshwater ecosystems combined, microplastics had been found in more than 114 aquatic species. Microplastics have been found lodged in the digestive tracts and tissues of various invertebrate sea animals, including crustaceans such as crabs. Fish and birds are likely to ingest microplastics floating on the water surface, mistaking the plastic bits for food. The ingestion of microplastics can cause aquatic species to consume less food and therefore to have less energy to carry out life functions, and it can result in neurological and reproductive toxicity. Microplastics are suspected of working their way up the marine food chains, from zooplankton and small fish to large marine predators. Microplastics have been detected in drinking water, beer, and food products, including seafood and table salt. In a pilot study involving 8 individuals from 8 different countries, microplastics were recovered from stool samples of every participant. Scientists have also detected microplastics in human tissues and organs. The implications of these findings for human health were uncertain. The hidden plastics in your beauty products. Many people are not aware of just how much plastic is hidden in their beauty and personal care routine. Microplastics are intentionally added to all kinds of products and not limited to exfoliants. Products that contain plastic polymers are deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, lipstick, hair dye, shaving cream, sunscreen, insect repellent, anti-wrinkle cream, moisturizers, hairspray, facial masks, baby care products, eyeshadow, mascara and more. In some cases, these products are made of more than 90% plastic. Plastic ingredients are so prevalent because they can be added for the following functions: skin conditioning, exfoliants, abrasives, glitter, tooth polishing, viscosity regulators to make the products flow, emulsifiers, film formers, opacifying agents, liquid absorbents binders, bulking agents, and more. Since microplastics are not biodegradable, when in the sea they attract waterborne toxins and bacteria that stick to their shiny surface and look similar to food items. They can then be eaten by fish, amphibians, insects, larvae and marine animals. Plastics can block digestive tracts, or enter the food chain where they may eventually end up on our dinner plates. One tube of facial scrub can contain more than 330,000 plastic microbeads. Study reveals presence of microbeads in cosmetic products in India. A large number of personal care cosmetic products, PCCPS, in India contain harmful microplastics, and the microbeads, released from items of daily use, pose a serious threat to the environment, particularly the marine ecosystem. Based on the assessment of 35 PCCPS, the study titled Dirty Cleanser, Assessment of Microplastics in Cosmetics by Delhi-based NGO Toxics Link has shown that a total of 19 face washes, 7 facial scrubs and 9 body washes were tested as part of the study and, out of 35 samples, 20 were detected with the presence of polymers. Among the 20 samples with polymers, 14 have microplastics beads. Among all types of PCCPS tested, the highest number of microplastics beads was detected in Neutrogena Deep Clean Scrub with 17,250 microbeads per 20 gram, followed by VLCC Natural Sciences Rose Face Scrub with 5,510 beads per 20 gram and Firma Shower Gel with 4,727 microbeads per 20 gram. The study by Toxics Link, an environmental research and advocacy organization, said a total of 70% of scrubs, 55% of body washes and 21% of face washes were found to have microbeads. For the study, 20 gram of each of the 35 samples was taken for analysis, and FTIR was used for the identification of plastic particles in PCCPs. Some countries have taken steps to ban microbeads, including India, as per the information provided by Wikipedia and Bead the Microbead. Cosmetics may or may not have microbeads in it, still they comes in plastic packaging and have lot of chemicals in it that also harmful for human, animal and nature. Products that surprisingly contain plastics. Tea bags. Almost all tea bags are lined with plastic, polypropylene, to help keep its shape when placed in boiling water. Because the bags are heated so much, they release microplastics into your tea. Those brands that claim to be plastic-free, use polylactic acid, also known as bioplastic, and are compostable when done in the right way. However, these usually still come wrapped in plastic. Chewing gum. Chewing gum used to be made from natural ingredients, such as tree sap, but commercial, modern-day chewing gum contains polyvinyl acetate, an ingredient used in the production of glue and latex paints. Polyvinyl acetate has been determined to be a possible carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC. You won't find this ingredient on the label though, as chewing gum manufacturers are not required to disclose the full list of ingredients. Gum base, the main ingredient, is considered a trade secret. It's also where the plastic is hiding. Paper cups and cartons. Although they are made out of paper, disposable coffee cups and other paper food and drinks containers are lined with plastic. This makes it extremely difficult to recycle them. Besides, just like a tea bag, these cups leach microplastics into your drink. Clothing. All synthetic fibers, such as nylon, polyester and acrylic, are made from plastic. Every time you wash your clothes, they shed microplastics, with fleece being the worst offender. Microfibers account for a big part of the microplastics found in our waters. Stickers. Stickers are made of some type of plastic, usually vinyl or polyester. As any other kind of plastic, as they start to decompose, they break down into microplastics. Disposable wipes. Whether we are talking about baby wipes, personal hygiene wipes, cleaning wipes or makeup removal wipes, these are all normally made with plastic. When they are tossed out in the bin, they end up in landfills. But lots of times they are being flushed down the toilet where they clog sewers and create fatbergs. Fatbergs are big chunks of solid waste consisting of wipes, personal hygiene products and solidified fat, and are a huge problem for cities all around the world. Glitter. Glitter can be found in many products. They are used in arts and crafts, in cosmetics, on Christmas cards and on clothing. Glitter is made out of sheets of plastic, etched aluminum with polyethylene terephthalate, PET, to be precise. Glitters are small pieces of under 5 mm, classifying them as microplastics. When they get washed down the drain, or are blown away by the wind, they end up in our environment. Cigarette butts. Many people believe that cigarette butts are solely made out of cotton, but they actually contain non-biodegradable cellulose acetate. Some say they are the king of hidden plastics. Cigarette filters also contain toxic chemicals, and with an estimated 4.5 trillion butts thrown away irresponsibly, it is the most littered item in the world. Menstrual products. Mainstream menstrual products are not only packaged in plastics, but they also contain them. These hidden plastics can be harmful to the woman using the products, considering the way they are used. Furthermore, all these disposable products create a huge pile of non-recyclable waste. Foil packaging. Foil bags, such as chips bags, are not made of metal foil, but of metallized plastic film. This makes them unsuitable for recycling, and so they normally end up in landfills. Sea salt. Sea salt from around the world has been found to contain microplastics. This one is unique on our list because unlike the others, plastic is not intentionally added to sea salt. Instead, sea salt has been contaminated with microplastics. Researchers in South Korea found that up to 90% of the table salt brands sampled worldwide contained microplastics. Samples were taken of 39 table salt brands from countries in Europe, North America, South America, Africa and Asia. Of the 39 brands tested, 36 were found to contain microplastics. Brands from Asia were particularly high in microplastics, most likely because plastic pollution is particularly pervasive in Asia. Tetra Paks. Tetra Paks are the cartons that most boxed drinks come in. They claim to be recyclable, but they contain a plastic coating inside, just like the aluminum can. Tetra Paks are very hard to recycle. Air. Microplastics quickly get everywhere with the wind. When it is in the air, we breathe it. Microplastics get into the atmosphere and the air we breathe in various ways. A. When water containing microplastics evaporates. B. When you drive a car, your tires, that contain rubber and plastic, slowly wear off. Millions of tiny microscopic pieces tear off the tire and then go into the air. C. When you rub the surface of polyester clothing, thousands of tiny microplastic fibers are released into the air. Microplastics in the human body. Breast milk. A recent study published in the journal Polymers has found microplastics in human breast milk for the first time, raising concerns regarding the health of infant babies among researchers. The study titled, Raman Microspectroscopy Detection and Characterization of Microplastics in Human Breast Milk, was conducted by researchers in Italy. The study researchers tested breast milk samples of 34 healthy mothers a week postpartum. According to the results, 75% of these samples were detected with microplastics. Other parts of the body. Researchers have found microplastics deep in lungs and in the bloodstream. Another recent study reported finding microplastics in placentas. For further knowledge, check out this article. A detailed review study on potential effects of microplastics and additives of concern on human health, published in International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. Microplastics found in human blood. Microplastic pollution has been detected in human blood for the first time, with scientists finding the tiny particles in almost 80% of the people tested. The discovery shows the particles can travel around the body and may lodge in organs. The impact on health is as yet unknown. But researchers are concerned as microplastics cause damage to human cells in the laboratory and air pollution particles are already known to enter the body and cause millions of early deaths a year. Huge amounts of plastic waste are dumped in the environment and microplastics now contaminate the entire planet, from the summit of Mount Everest to the deepest oceans. People were already known to consume the tiny particles via food and water as well as breathing them in, and they have been found in the feces of babies and adults. The scientists analyzed blood samples from 22 anonymous donors, all healthy adults, and found plastic particles in 17. Half the samples contained PET plastic, which is commonly used in drinks bottles, while a third contained polystyrene, used for packaging food and other products. A quarter of the blood samples contained polyethylene, from which plastic carrier bags are made. Baby bottles can shed millions of microplastic particles. What parents need to know. Plastic baby bottles are lightweight and convenient. No wonder they make up more than 80% of the baby bottle market around the world. But a recent study published in Nature Food found they can expose infants to thousands or even millions of particles of microplastics per day, higher than previously thought. Baby bottles made of polypropylene, the typical type of plastic used in such products, can release microplastics when they are heated or shaken, the new study found. The results were striking. Polypropylene infant feeding bottles leaked an average of 4 million microplastic particles per liter, or about a quart, of liquid. Exposure to high-temperature water significantly increased the release of plastic bits. The study estimated the average microplastics exposure level for a bottle-fed baby was more than 1.5 million particles a day, or 2,600 times that of an adult. Infants in North America and Europe consumed even more plastic bits based on the preference for plastic baby bottles in those regions. Milk bottles and chew toys are source of microplastic, affecting infants. Human exposure to microplastics is a possible health concern, but little is known about its extent. Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic less than 5 mm, 0.2 inches, in size. Scientists believe that the way babies are consuming such high levels of microplastics through chew toys like dummies and from crawling around on carpets that contain microplastics. Another alarming concern was that milk bottles ingest microplastics, followed by plastics from microfabrics that also affect infant health. By analyzing the feces of 6 infants and 10 adults, and 3 newborns' first stool, through a method called mass spectrometry, every sample had at least one type of microplastic in it. 2 common kinds of microplastics, polyethylene terephthalate, PET, and polycarbonate, PC, were studied. When comparing the baby samples to the adults, the researchers found at least 10 times as much microplastic in babies. In this image you can see the possible health consequences of day-to-day contact with hormonally active substances in plastic. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and share the video. Also, you can watch my other videos.